Hello, I'm Julia Walters with Kingman Regional Medical Center, and you're watching our COVID-19 update series. Currently, we have 23 patients in-house related to COVID, and our rolling 7-day percent positivity rate is 6.39. Today, we'll be hearing from Drs. John Ashurst and Anthony Santarelli, who will tell us more about vaccines for COVID-19.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Ashurst. I'm one of the ER doctors here.
Hi, I'm Dr. Anthony Santarelli. I am one of the research scientists here at the hospital. So as of today, there are 2 vaccines approved for use in the United States. So one has been manufactured by Pfizer and the other is manufactured by Moderna. Now both vaccines are produced in a very similar way and show relatively equivalent degrees of protection from COVID-19 and similar side effects. The main differences between these 2 vaccines that are available are largely the storage conditions that need to be met and the recommended time between your first and second dose. 28 days for the Moderna and 21 days for Pfizer's vaccine. However, more vaccines are coming available on the market. Johnson & Johnson has recently provided some data to the FDA, and it looks like that may be authorized for use in the near future. So the vaccines were developed quickly, but they're held to the same safety standards as all other vaccinations that you may receive over the course of your life. So what both Pfizer and Moderna were required to do is that before they even administered it to a human being, they had to do what are called preclinical toxicity studies. And that's where they test whether or not this vaccine has any ill effects on your genes, whether or not it has any ill effects on your potential reproductive health, or any systems toxicity. This is all done in non-human animals. Once both Pfizer and Moderna were able to show that this vaccine does not produce any ill effects in non-human animals, it then moved on to the clinical trials. For the clinical trials, and I'm speaking only for Moderna here, both Pfizer and Moderna went through a very similar clinical trials period where they enrolled about 30,000 total people who were administered the dose. Only 22 of those who were administered the dose contracted COVID-19, and there were very low levels of reported severe side effects. So, in fact, out of those 30,000 people, 18,000 of which who received the vaccine, only 5 serious side effects were reported. And they're unlikely directly related to the vaccine. Moreover, kind of as people continue to get the vaccine, we're constantly tracking the safety and efficacy of it in different groups and populations throughout the United States. In the vaccine, you have functional ingredients and non-functional ingredients, e.g. the ones that confer immunity to you, and the other ones that just are a part of the preparation. So functionally, these vaccines contain mRNA, which we'll explain in just a little bit, encapsulated in what are called lipid nanoparticles. So it's basically just little RNAs surrounded by fat. And that fat allows that mRNA to enter your cells and provide its protective effect. Now, non-functionally, there are some just standard mRNA stabilization ingredients like cholesterols, acids, and sugars, and of course, water. For allergies, there are neither eggs nor latex products in these vaccines. So mRNA is messenger ribonucleic acid. It's just a biochemical that our bodies produce in large quantities. And we use that mRNA that we produce inside of ourselves to make our proteins. And that's our muscles, that's our organs, that's our skin. Now, a lot of different mRNAs exist, and they really do create essentially all of what your body is. Critically, though, each mRNA, both in your body and in this vaccine, is a sequence to code only one type of protein. It only makes a very small part of what constitutes you, people as a whole. So that mRNA that's delivered to your cells through the vaccine is providing you with an acquired immunity to a part of the COVID-19 virus. Once you have an acquired immunity to that spike protein, then your body gears up your immune response that if it ever detects the presence of the virus, it's already prepared to fight that off before it takes hold and produces severe symptoms. no, the COVID-19 vaccine will not affect your DNA, and it is a common misconception. So the DNA in each one of your cells is stored in a kind of a specialized part called the nucleus. And on the outside of that nucleus exists walls impermeable to mRNAs entering the nucleus and interacting with your DNA. Your own mRNAs do not change your DNA, and nor do the vaccine's mRNAs change your DNA.
The effects you see after you receive the vaccine are actually your body's natural response to build up an adaptive immunity. The effects that you may see, the most common one is pain at the injection site. Usually after injection number 2, people do get a temperature. They may have some aches and pains and may have some generalized weakness. But those effects only last typically 1 day.
It's about 50% of people will experience side effects after the first dose, and about 60 to 80% will experience side effects after the second dose.
So the actual vaccine, it doesn't contain any live or weakened SARS-CoV-2 virus. So because of that, it actually can't cause COVID-19. Yeah, so this goes back to the immunity that we had talked about earlier. So one of the most important things when we give out these injections is to develop a herd immunity, right? So in order to develop a herd immunity, you have to have X number of people in the community who have received the injection to prevent it from being transmissible.
Exactly, and each one of those viruses, SARS-CoV-2 in particular, has an estimated amount of people you will spread it to following your own infection. For the one that's spread mostly throughout the United States, that amount is about 1.2 people. If you're sick, you'll give it to, on average, 1.2 other people. We need enough people vaccinated, so that way that number comes down below 1, and you're going to give it to less than 1 other person on average because everyone else has been vaccinated.
Yeah, and this goes with the immunity also about effective immunity, right? So effective immunity basically is after you receive the injection, that you won't become ill from it. You could still have an asymptomatic infection, but most likely you won't become ill. And then there's
also sterilizing immunity, which is the ability for the vaccine to prevent transmission of the illness from one person to another vaccinated individual. And unfortunately, right now, the vaccines are still too new for us to have a good grasp on what the sterilizing immunity provided by it is. Just returning to your effective immunity for a point, and to kind of shed some light on why we want to still consider wearing a mask. Now, when we say the virus that causes COVID-19, we actually are speaking about a wide variety of different viruses and variants of the specific virus, that SARS-CoV-2 virus. Many people have now heard about the United Kingdom variant, the South African variant, and the Brazilian variant. These different variants are likely the vaccine's not going to provide you with protection from. Now, these are not, geographically isolated to South Africa, Brazil, and the United Kingdom. We have variants throughout the United States as well. One of the ones which has just popped up on the scientific radar is the West Coast variant, which the vaccine gives you about a 60% efficacy for your effective immunity. So as these variants spread, you need to continue wearing a mask because they can spread from person to person to person and even reinfect individuals who had a different variant of the illness before.
Yeah, and what we're seeing with these is that the rate of infection with these new viruses is it could actually be higher. So that's why it's important to keep using a mask.
Thank you for watching our COVID-19 update series. For more information about our COVID response, please visit our website at azkrmc.com. Until next time, stay safe and healthy.